I was playing fetch with my golden retriever puppy when the ball rolled into the woods. He ran after it, and I called his name, but he didn't come back. I searched for hours, screaming his name, my voice getting weaker with every step. Then, I heard it, a low growl that froze my blood. I pushed through the bushes, and I couldn't believe what I saw. A massive grizzly bear was lying on her side, and my puppy was curled up against her belly, fast asleep. She looked at me, and I looked at her, and neither of us moved. I reached out slowly, whispering his name, but the bear gently pushed my puppy closer to her with one massive paw. That's when I saw the scars on her stomach. She'd lost her cubs, and somehow she'd found my pup. I sat down 15 feet away and just watched them. The puppy woke up, licked her face, and she let out this sound, almost like a mother humming. For 3 days, I came back to that spot. The bear taught him things I never could: how to dig for roots, how to catch fish in the stream, how to be brave. On the 4th day, she nudged him toward me, touched her nose to his head, and walked back into the forest. My puppy ran to me, but he stopped and looked back at her. Some mothers aren't biological, they're chosen. 6 months ago, I found her laying in the road, a cheetah, hit by a car, injured. Everyone said, leave her, she's wild, she's dangerous. But I couldn't. I carried her 3 miles to my truck, spent every night in the garage, feeding her by hand, cleaning her wounds. The day she could finally run again, she looked at me once and disappeared into the wild. I thought I'd never see her again. Then last week, I heard scratching at my door. I opened it, and there she was. But she wasn't alone. 3 tiny cubs. She picked up the first one by the scruff and placed it at my feet, then the second, then the third. She looked at me with those same eyes from 6 months ago, but this time, they weren't asking for help. They were saying thank you. She brought me her whole world to show me I'm part of her family now. I saved her life once, and she just gave me the greatest honor. I found this baby gorilla in a crate behind a warehouse. She was crying, cold, and alone. I knew exactly who she belonged to. 3 months ago, I watched her mother pace the zoo every single day, searching for her stolen baby. The zoo said they couldn't help without proof, so I did something crazy. I waited until midnight, climbed the fence, and made my way to the gorilla enclosure. My hands were shaking as I held the baby close. The mother was in the corner, barely moving. When she heard her baby's cry, everything changed. She rushed to the glass. I opened the transfer door that keepers use. The baby reached out, and then they touched. The mother pulled her baby through, holding her so tight, checking every inch of her. She looked right at me, and I swear she understood. Security found me, but the footage went viral. The charges were dropped. Because sometimes breaking the rules is the only way to do what's right. After the storm destroyed his tree, this sloth had nowhere to go. He was so slow, it would take him weeks to find a new home. So I did something crazy. I became his personal driver. Every morning for 2 weeks, I'd pick him up and he'd inspect a new tree. First tree? Nope, too sunny. Second tree? Branches too thin. My friends thought I'd lost it, driving around with a sloth in my passenger seat. But on day 14, we found it. The perfect tree. He climbed up so slowly, turned around, and I swear he smiled. I still drive past that tree sometimes. He's always there, living his best life. And honestly, being a sloth's Uber driver was the best job. This raccoon kept showing up at my window every night for a week, but something felt different this time. She wasn't looking for food. She was looking at me. Then she did something I'll never forget. She grabbed my sleeve with her tiny hands and started pulling me toward the door. I know this sounds crazy, but I followed her. She led me 3 houses down, kept looking back to make sure I was still there, like she was begging me to hurry. Then I saw why. Hidden under my neighbor's porch was another raccoon, and she wasn't moving. Her sister, not in the best condition, probably from a dog attack. The healthy raccoon sat right next to her, touching her face with her paw, then looked up at me with these desperate eyes. She brought me here to save her. I carefully picked up the sick one and rushed her to the emergency vet. 3 days later, both of them showed up at my window. The one I saved was walking again, and they were carrying berries in their mouths. They dropped them on my windowsill and gave me a look, and I swear to you, the healthy one placed her paw on the glass, right where my hand was. She knew exactly what she was doing. Animals understand more than we think. I found her shivering in the snow. This tiny tiger cub, barely breathing, frost covering her whiskers. Poachers had left her to die. I only had one thing warm enough to save her, my winter coat. The only thing keeping me alive out here. I wrapped her up and held her close. Even though I was freezing, she looked up at me with these big orange eyes, like she understood what I'd given up. 3 days, I kept her warm. 3 days, I nearly froze to death, but she survived. When she was strong enough, I let her go. I thought I'd never see her again. 2 weeks later, I'm sleeping in my tent when I hear something outside. Heavy breathing, footsteps. I open the tent, and there she is, fully grown now. She just stared at me. Then she laid down right at my tent entrance. That night, wild boars attacked my camp. She fought them off, didn't even hesitate. Every night since, she guards my tent. I gave her my coat. She gave me her life. Some debts can never be repaid, but she's trying anyway. I heard crying in the woods behind my house. My golden retriever, Max, bolted toward the sound before I could stop him. When I caught up, I froze. There was a tiny lion cub, barely the size of Max's head, shivering and alone. No mother, no pride, just a baby who wouldn't survive the night. Max gently picked him up like a puppy and carried him home. I tried to separate them, but Max wouldn't leave his side. He fed him, cleaned him, protected him like his own. I named the cub Leo. Weeks turned into months. Leo grew and grew and grew. Soon he was bigger than Max, then twice his size. But nothing changed. Every morning, this massive lion would curl up on Max's bed, trying to fit like he was still that tiny cub. Max would groan under the weight, but his tail never stopped wagging. People ask if I'm scared having a full-grown lion in my home. But when I see Leo gently licking Max's face, treating him like the father he never had, I know Max gave this king his kingdom, and Leo never forgot who saved. I was surfing at dawn when I saw something struggling in the waves. I paddled over and found a seal tangled in fishing line, barely able to breathe. The line was cutting into his skin, so I used my car keys to cut him free. He looked at me for a long moment, then disappeared under the water. I thought that was it. 2 weeks later, I'm back at the same beach, sitting on my board, waiting for a wave, when something bumps me from below. I almost fell off. Then, this seal pops up right next to me, and he's holding a fish in his mouth. He drops it on my board, looks at me, and dives back down. I thought it was a coincidence, but the next morning, same thing. He finds me in the water and brings me a fish. Now, it's been 3 months, and every single time I surf, he shows up. Sometimes he brings fish. Sometimes he just rides the waves next to me. Last week, he brought his family. Now I surf with a whole pod of seals. The ocean gave me a best friend, and all I did was cut a piece of string. I was walking on the beach in California when I saw something that made my heart stop. A penguin, shivering, alone, thousands of miles from home. He looked at me with these tired eyes, like he'd been swimming for weeks. I wrapped him in my jacket and rushed him to my car. The vet said he was starving, dehydrated, completely lost. For 6 months, I fed him fresh fish every day, kept him cool, gave him a kiddie pool to swim in, but I knew he didn't belong here. So I bought a plane ticket to Antarctica. The journey took 3 days. When we finally reached the ice, I set him down gently. He looked back at me one last time, like he was saying, "Thank you." Then he waddled toward a group of penguins in the distance. They surrounded him, greeting him with calls and nudges. He was home. I cried the whole flight back, but I knew I'd done the right thing. Sometimes love means letting go. 10 years ago in Alaska, I found a tiny polar bear cub crying next to his mother's body. Poachers had taken her, and he was so small, barely the size of my backpack. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't leave him. I bottle fed him for 3 months, named him Nanook, and when he was strong enough, I released him back into the wild. I never thought I'd see him again. Fast forward to last week, I'm back in the Arctic doing research, and this massive polar bear starts walking toward our camp. Everyone's terrified, reaching for the flares, but something about him made me freeze. He was huge now, over 1,200 pounds, but he had this scar above his left eye, the same scar baby Nanook had. I stepped forward, and my team thought I lost my mind. I called out his name, and I swear he stopped. He tilted his head, just like he used to when he was confused as a cub. Then he did something that made my heart stop. He sat down, exactly the way I taught him when he was little, the way we practiced every single day. My team was speechless. Slowly, carefully, I walked closer. He didn't move, just watched me with those same dark eyes. When I got close enough, I reached out my hand. and he pressed his giant head into my palm the same way he did when he was tiny and scared. He remembered me. After 10 years in the wild, hundreds of miles of ice, he remembered. We sat together for almost an hour, him leaning against me like he used to, and I just cried. When it was time to go, he stood up, looked at me one last time, and walked back toward the ice. But before he disappeared, he turned around and sat one more time, like he was saying thank you, like he was saying goodbye. Subscribe if you cherish their bond.